Welcome to the Professor Slots Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. John Friedel, but please call me John. I help slots enthusiasts improve their gambling performance with next-level tactics and strategies. Want to accelerate your slots journey, be more profitable, and understand casinos better to take advantage of them? I have over a decade of experience working with slots enthusiasts just like you, so you're in the right place. In case you missed it, on my last episode, I went over learning to win at slots is easy, but what's hard is keeping it, and Florida slots. Hope you enjoyed listening to my last episode as much as I enjoyed making it for you. Today's episode number 181 includes a review of the slots industry in Georgia, but I'll begin for you today with why the rising costs of casino trips won't end soon. Rising costs are expected, yes, but sharp rises driven by the gaming industry to improve their profits hurts slots enthusiasts. Let's go over what, where, and how such prices are increasing. I've noticed something lately during my casino trips. Costs are going up, up, up. Have you seen that too? I don't know why it took me so long. I mean, sure, I've always placed maximum bets. Only lately I've begun to question whether that's a good idea. Now I've noticed how high minimum bets have gotten. What are the other rising casino costs that are happening right under our noses? On my latest casino trips, I've been trying out and testing slot machine evaluation methods as well as working on refinements to my 5-spin test method. Both use minimum bets, so that's when it hit me in the face. Minimum bets are increasing. We'll need to keep an eye on it in the future because there's a question in my mind about these rising minimum bets. Have they stopped increasing yet? But the rising cost of going to a casino isn't just due to increasing minimum bets. What else costs more? Well, what doesn't cost more lately? Food, parking, valet, resort fees for hotel stays, and what appears to be lower player win percentages? Or at least wildly fluctuating returns, first up, then down, then up again, like we're on a roller coaster. Sometimes that's our subjective feelings about our casino visits. Yet other times it's an objective observation if we use gambling records to track our performance trip by trip to casino after casino. I'd somehow missed seeing that was happening until recently. When I asked my audience of slots enthusiasts about minimum bets increasing, they informed me that the minimum bets are sometimes as low as 30 cents, but more usually 60 cents or 88 cents. I don't have to tell you, that's a lot. What's the lowest minimum bet you can find at your casino? A few audience members have mentioned that their casino still has 1-cent bets on penny machines. One of them goes to a remote casino in Washington and the other is in New Zealand. Raising the minimum bet at a casino is tough on the many slots enthusiasts who bring a $100 or $200 bankroll to a casino to play slots. These are not small bankrolls, or at least I don't like to call them that because I believe any size bankroll is just fine. But I must adjust my perception as minimum bets keep rising. How soon will they be over $1? If you bring more than a $200 bankroll to the casino, your gameplay session has been shortened too. It doesn't matter how much your bankroll is, large or small, when casinos raise minimum bets. What will they do next? Remove the one credit bet option on $5, $10, $25, and $100 denomination slot machines as if they were penny machines? That's the direction where we're headed. Maybe the minimum bet size will stop rising like college tuition has. Tuition went up for decades but stopped growing a few years ago. Why? Because universities reached the maximum cost a student and their parents could afford. Yes, they finally hit the maximum, but universities found another way to effectively double how much tuition they are getting. How? They increased the number of students in classrooms. Instead of a class that would hold 30 students, they're rebuilding campus buildings to have lecture halls holding a minimum of 100 or more students instead of 30 students only. Considering this tuition example, let's examine the business consequences for casinos when raising minimum bets on slot machines. First, it's risky because what if a nearby competitor doesn't raise their minimum bets so high? Well, that first casino's patrons will be switched over to the second casino with its lower minimum bets, with a corresponding loss of revenue at the first casino. This back and forth is how competition works. Has this happened yet? As best I can tell, no. Nobody has made a big fuss over rising minimum bets. Nobody has raised the alarm. But maybe this podcast episode will? Gaming competition has certainly happened elsewhere, though. On the river border between Illinois and Indiana, riverboat casinos on the Illinois side set up gaming regulations that required casinos to close for 2 hours in the morning. A few months later, when Indiana set up their gaming regulations, they allowed their riverboat casinos to be open 24 hours a day. Again, this is what competition looks like within the gaming industry. Before the pandemic, many gaming channels and podcasts made a huge fuss over so-called resort fees. These miscellaneous charges got to be larger than the hotel occupancy charge for a room. Universities did something similar by adding many small fees to keep per-credit charges low for advertising purposes, same as casinos are doing, yet still get massive revenue. This effort to raise a fuss publicly for a year got the attention of a lot of people, and casinos started losing money despite the extra income from these resort fees. All that negative attention decreased their revenue. Similarly, let's kick up a fuss about the rising costs of minimum bets on slot machines. Seriously, 30-cent minimum bets on penny machines? Why do they even call them penny machines anymore? Like high tuition at universities, they're driving away customers that can no longer afford it. Casinos think slots enthusiasts with bankrolls of $200 or less aren't worth their time and attention. If so, that's a huge mistake. To casinos that do this, I hope your competitors don't notice your error. Or rather, I hope they do. Honestly, it's a simple economic analysis. You have far more customers with bankrolls of $200 or less than you do customers with more, which apparently is now your focus. Don't you know that slots players with bankrolls of $200 or less are your bread and butter patrons? They're the lifeblood of your business, and you're driving them away by raising minimum bets. From a business perspective, this is terrible news for casinos' future income. Don't you know that? You should. Besides resort fees and minimum bets, there are other ways the cost of going to a casino increases. Unfortunately for casinos, it's not something they have any control over. It's food services. While some casinos still have buffets, and I hear those in Black Hawk, Colorado casinos are fantastic, but most casinos have closed their buffets for public health and safety reasons. People need to eat, and if you're a big eater, then buffets are a food source. I know they are for me. Well, they were. Casino buffets are cheap places to get a meal, especially for foodies and individuals who otherwise love buffets. But those are gone. So the food options available at casinos for the same piled-high plates are not as cheap. How could they be? Maybe inflation-based rising costs will recede. Perhaps we won't enter a recession. But a steady near 2% inflation happens even without the recent cause and effect circumstances in our economy. Even if the gaming industry behaves, casino costs will continue to rise. Rising costs are an element of a healthy economy, but driving up costs to increase profits is something else entirely. And low bankroll slots enthusiasts are hurt the most by casinos when they do this. Improve your slots performance in 30 days or less with my 30 days to play slots smarter and win. You also get 3 free valuable bonuses, including 1 month free to my Slots IQ membership group, where you'll get community support and accountability. Visit ProfessorSlots.com/30 days to learn more about the free bonuses, course content, and testimonials from participants. In the next segment of the show, I provide a brief overview of the current state of gambling in a U.S. state, territory, or the federal district, emphasizing the gaming industry for slots enthusiasts. Let's go over Georgia's gaming industry for playing slots. Georgia's slot machine casino gambling consists of a single casino boat with day trips to international waters where casino gambling is legal. The minimum legal gambling age in Georgia depends upon the gambling activity. For bingo, the lottery, and pari-mutuel wagering, it's 18. For land-based casinos and poker rooms, it's not available. The legal gambling age on casino boats sailing from Georgia ports is 21. Anybody wishing to board must present a government-issued photo ID showing they meet this minimum gambling age. Next up is a usually short statement about slot machine private ownership, which I have included in case you live in this U.S. state and are considering owning a slot machine. Here it is. It is legal to own a slot machine privately in Georgia if manufactured before 1950. Georgia has the Georgia Lottery Corporation to regulate the state lottery. Otherwise, the state has its commercial gambling unit responsible for coin-operated amusement machines at convenience stores and other businesses around the state. In this section, I discuss Georgia gambling establishments. There are no land-based casinos in Georgia. However, a day-trip casino boat ships out of the port of Brunswick, nicknamed the shrimp capital of the world, in the southeast corner of the state. The Single Casino in Georgia is a 200-foot four-deck yacht making daily gaming trips to international waters. The Emerald Princess II Casino accommodates up to 400 passengers. On board, the casino boat has 250 slot machines, 12 blackjack tables, 4 poker tables, 2 roulette wheels, and a craps table. The ticket price for individuals to board is $10 per person. Daily cruise trips are subject to change, so check their website for the most up-to-date schedules. The state of Georgia has no federally recognized tribes, therefore it has no tribal casinos. For future updates, see my webpage for this state at professorslots.com/GA. As an alternative to enjoying Georgia slot machine casino gambling, consider exploring casino options in a nearby state. Bordering Georgia is to the north, Tennessee and North Carolina, to the south, Florida, to the east, South Carolina, and to the west, Alabama. To visit any of my articles on these U.S. states, simply visit professorslots.com followed by its 2-letter postal designation. For example, my Tennessee slots article is available at professorslots.com/TN. Casino cruises are to international waters without a gaming jurisdiction. Therefore, there are no theoretical payout limits, nor return statistics. A casino boat operator sets theoretical payouts to satisfy their business goals. If set too low, it results in an unacceptable amount of customer dissatisfaction, reputation, and future business. If set too high, the boat operator makes less profit than desired to, pardon the pun, keep their business afloat. Improve your slots performance in 30 days or less with my 30 days to play slots smarter and win. You also get 3 free valuable bonuses, including 1 month free to my Slots IQ membership group, where you'll get community support and accountability. Visit professorslots.com/30 days to learn more about the free bonuses, course content, and testimonials from participants. The next episode of the Professor Slots podcast will include another slots-related topic and a review of the slots industry in Guam, a U.S. territory. That's the end of another great episode of the Professor Slots podcast. Thanks so much for listening. I plan to have the next episode come out very soon for you, where I'll have more amazing content for the show. Until the next episode, have fun, be safe, and make good choices. Bye.